Welcome back to the 8 Minute Podcast, where 8 minutes is all it takes to transform your day. So, if you're ready, let's dive in and make every minute count. You know, I like this idea that truth is not always loud, and that your truth can come up in such a simple and subtle way. It can be a body sensation, it can be the way you perceive your environment. But how do you know that what you feel is your truth? We have learned and we have been taught to detrust ourselves. And what I mean by that is that we have so many gadgets that will tell us how we slept, how much or how little we need to eat. And don't get me wrong, some data can be very useful and is sometimes absolutely essential. But there is still this ongoing movement where a lot of us are less trustful of our bodies and of our intuitions. And when you live a fast paced life, it is so easy to just stop listening to your intuition and to stop feeling it altogether. And I talk from experience. It is so easy for me to turn the autopilot mode on, and then the disconnection just starts. It begins slowly, but if we don't listen early enough, our body will start to scream, and hopefully, we listen when it screams, or hopefully, even before then, and do everything that's necessary to realign. So, to get back to this notion of truth, I feel as though we hear a lot of people talking about finding your truth. But oftentimes, it isn't really something that is found, but rather created through various experiences. We refine what we like, what feels most like us. Our truth can change, it can vary over time, through our experiences, through the people we meet, through the places we visit, and I think that's the beauty of it. If we start by noticing how we feel, whether that's in a specific environment or whilst doing a specific thing, we can hear the silent and subtle signals that tell us this is where I want to be right now. And it doesn't have to be forever. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. And it's also important to mention that when you outgrow a specific truth, it doesn't mean it was wrong, but I think it means that it served its purpose and it's now time to move on and to let go. And we can see this notion of truth as a compass that can be adjusted as it guides us through life. So, creating your truth often requires you to silence the noise around you and to make space for the truth to speak. And yeah, it can be a little whisper. Hey, why don't we try that out? Or, hey, why don't we get back to this? In comparison to noise, that can be external or internal, that is often filled with ego, with fear, with conditioning. Truth is calm, truth is confident, and usually it's here, it's within us, and it's waiting for us with open arms. Truth can be the feeling of being grounded, it can be subtle goosebumps, a deep sigh of relief. I think truth is often a relief. It feels like home somehow. And when I say that truth is not always loud, I also mean that sometimes Truth is the only thing that's left. Once we unchained ourselves from ego and fear and conditioning, truth is just waiting. It's waiting for us to let go of our conditioning, of our ego, of our fear, so that we can embrace what is for us. So, perhaps to illustrate all of this, I can give you an example. So, for me, my truth is found in creation, in any way, shape, or form, but mostly writing. Is it what I do best objectively? Perhaps not, but it is where I feel most like myself. It is what I love doing the most. It is those moments of flow that I feel as though I can have the biggest impact and contribute to the greater good in my own way. Um, there is little to no resistance when I create, it just flows. So, connecting with that part of me, with that truth, has been life changing because before I used to think that I needed to be a lot more logical, rational, and that was where I was going to thrive and to be more successful, which was in retrospect very far from the truth, from my truth at least. Um, but it has not been loud. It happened over time. I took courses, I started writing more, I started creating more, and eventually I looked back and thought, oh, yes, this is my truth right here. But it's still evolving, and I'm very happy that it is. I keep getting closer to my essence through experience and repetition. And it was very silent. I did not wake up one morning thinking, this is it, girl. It happened over a very long period of time and required some level of self awareness and attention to what was happening inside of me. So, this week, I have an invitation for you. Instead of looking for big signs or angel numbers on license plates, like I used to do, just look inward, right where you are, and notice the quiet truths. When do you feel most like yourself, even in the most mundane moments? Remember that it doesn't have to be loud to be true. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. On that note, cheers.